Welcome to the C3 Show Experience, as I like to call it. Joined by Kale and Colin tonight. Boys, how we doing?
We're alive and well.
Back again, dude. Hopefully we'll have a little consistent appearance these days now that we are zeroing in on the beginning of the season.
That and your schedule got more consistent after the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Both of you guys. Colin, didn't look like your craziness is over yet. I saw you working on uniforms earlier.
Oh, yeah. It's never
Yeah.
Well,
It's a crazy life. Crazy life.
I know not for everyone, but boys, it's officially game week.
Yeah.
I'm happy that, I guess it's Saturday. Next Saturday, there's one game that I actually am most intrigued by. And it's not going to be one that most people are even going to be thinking about.
So,
North Dakota State versus...
No,
North Dakota
UNLV
State.
Memphis.
Okay.
UNLV Memphis at 9 o'clock on Saturday.
Saturday night?
Yeah.
Nice.
Might have to just go over to Colin's house and watch that game. Experience the first week 0 late night after dark game up at the House of Pfeiffer.
Who's UNLV's quarterback going to be? Because their old quarterback's gone. He's in a better place now.
Couldn't tell you.
Neither
I don't know, but
Actually-
Dan Mullen, man.
Quarterback whisper.
Quarterback whisperer.
Well, don't got a whole lot to talk about heading into our main event, so why don't we just jump on in? We got our top 30 ready to go, boys.
Boom. We'll pull those banners down for you. But Notre Dame taking the top freaking spot based on our composite rankings, which consist of us three beautiful bitches and our buddy Levi, and then the computer. So Notre Dame takes the top spot. Anybody shocked by that?
I'm not.
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's hear the reasons.
Because I don't understand. I get that it's a team sport and things have changed and blah, 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 whatever you want to say. But how can Indiana not be a preseason number one? They literally were undefeated last year and won a national title. Nobody beat Indiana last year. So shouldn't they just start the next season as the preseason number one until somebody proves otherwise?
I could get down with that. A lot of people are probably keying too much on Mendoza being gone after the season he had, but I think you're spot on. Indiana could be or should be the top team. I didn't put him there, but or yes, I did. I did put Indiana 1. It was Notre Dame that I had 2. But anyway.
How did Notre Dame do in the playoffs last year?
Well, you can't even say the playoffs. You could just say the postseason.
Correct. Sitting at home, turning down the Pop-Tart Bowl.
And Notre Dame lost. Okay, if you want to go with the asterisk that Indiana lost Mendoza, they lost a lot of guys on defense. Notre Dame lost Jeremiah Love, who was their whole entire team last year, basically.
Yeah, but you also have C.J. Carr winning a Heisman, don't you?
I don't know.
Just kidding.
I had Miami number 1.
Okay, Miami lost Carson Beck. Why is? Are we sure?
Yeah, but Darian Menz.
Mensa was what 6-6 last year at Duke.
It's
Like
Duke,
they were,
and they were
right,
7-5.
yeah, well, okay, one game better than 6-6
They're the ACC champions.
with an asterisk. Like I just don't like. I get that Miami returns a lot at quarterback, running back, wide receiver. They have to replace their whole defensive front. They have to replace a bunch of guys on the offensive line. They have a true freshman that's going to start at left tackle. Dude's going to be
It's all
making
right.
his first career start. Like I just don't. I don't get the sentiment. How I don't get how you can justify like if somebody wanted to put Oregon or Ohio State number one, I'm okay with that. But and the only person that has Ohio State number one is the computer. Me and Kale both have Indiana number one, which should be Miami. Indiana literally beat Miami last year for the national title.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting Miami number one.
And
Cody.
I think we can all agree why Levi has Notre Dame number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. That's a given. Yes.
Right.
And I
I'm
mean,
not. Go for it.
I don't have a huge qualms about that because Notre Dame's got 2 games on their schedule that are going to be worth a hoot. BYU and Miami.
Right.
SMU.
Okay, 3.
I'm gonna say you guys like some of you. Everybody's overlooking SMU, and I'm not getting ahead of myself, but you got to have that included on Notre Dame's slate as a circled game. It's got to be.
But is their defense going to be played by SMU in that game?
Guys, okay, now hold on. Who was the guy that was trying to lobby us saying that SMU's defensive coordinator, when he was potentially going to be at Nebraska, was like legit? That was you. So, yes, they are going to play defense, and they freaking stopped Miami last year, So, like, SMU's defense is underrated by the metrics, bruh, based off of last year's conversations.
That's because they gave up like 56 points to Cal.
Well, yeah, it was in Cal. And Spatula's a good quarterback. He's a lefty. He throws everybody off.
Throwing the ball backwards. I don't.
Hey,
I don't.
When that ball is coming spinning the other direction, it's not just the offense that has it weird. It's the defense too.
So back to the Indiana or the number one conversation. I have a hard time. Like, do I think Indiana is the best team in the country in my heart? No. But is Indiana the best team in the country until somebody proves otherwise? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I actually agree with you. And I think they're going to hold that spot longer.
For 5 weeks.
No, because Nebraska's not beating them.
Trap game, though. I do fully agree with that.
It's not a trap game. Like, we'll get into that when I get into it, but I don't know. Like, Turbo Richard, the running back that they picked up from Boston College. I mean, the Nick Marsh pickup at the wideout position, plus Charlie Becker's back. Like, and they got some key defensive players back that they weren't sure they would. That were announced like a couple weeks ago. Like,
they're not back. The DNs.
Yeah, they're not back.
They're not back.
Why are they not back?
NCAA said no.
Yeah, they got that injunction taken out.
No, that's right.
Kind of.
Right.
Whatever.
Kind of.
I mean,
for right now, because there's another injunction that's allowing guys that are currently playing in the NFL to enter the transfer portal.
Right. And then Thomas Castellanos got an injunction Friday.
Yeah, I'm about out on college. Like, if these guys get injunctions and get back in, I might be out on college football until somebody fixes the damn thing.
No kidding. Like, you can't turn back.
Like,
you can't turn into basketball. Basketball's a mess. And so, like, you start to go down the road the basketball's in, then I'm out too.
Once you sign a pro contract, your amateur athletic career is over. You're no
So
longer
are they treating this to be like, oh, it's just us entering back into the minors, like like how you can go up and down in the MLB, even though it's all just the MLB. But I'm saying, like, is that the basis of it, or like what's
No,
the point?
I think what the point is like these guys left college early essentially,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get a year, but like they left college thinking that they had no college eligibility left, and then the NCAA came back with this five for five deal, and I
You have to have a hard line somewhere.
Thank you. I was just going to say that at some point, does somebody just finally accept the point that when change happens, there's a hard line drawn? Like, you're just shit out of luck then. Like, if you were the year it happened, sorry, like, someone's going to be pissed. But in a year from now, it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
So hopefully this isn't freaking, I don't know, because then it just opens a giant can of worms, like, well, but that guy got in, and then it's trying to make everything fair, just like whenever that happens, shit hits the fan. So life ain't fair. Get over it. If you ain't good enough to play in the NFL, don't come back to college to try to get paid. That's the point. Like,
right.
Go work a real job now that you don't have any skills because you took all these PUD classes, like, and didn't actually develop any skills while you were in school.
Right.
Sorry.
You're not good enough to go pro.
Right. Sorry. Okay. Philosophy's out of it. Let's talk about this poll.
Right. So round out the top 5.
Well, go for it.
So Posit had Notre Dame at 1, like we talked about, then Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, Miami. Do you think that's kind of a consensus top 5, and then maybe add in Georgia?
Yeah, I would think
think there's a tier to it.
I think there's I don't know if Georgia's in that 1 tier.
Okay. Yeah. I'd be fine with calling it a top 5 because I think there is a drop off from those top 5.
I think there's like a top 5 and then there's like a middle 10, like a next 10.
Yeah.
And I think there's some interchangeable pieces in that next 10.
Right.
But like just sitting in the top 5, like I had Indiana 1, Miami 2, Ohio State 3. I have Indiana 1 and Miami 2 because those are the 2 teams that played for the national title last year. So I feel like they should be 1 and 2 until somebody else proves otherwise.
See, now here I'm gonna poke an argument in that real quick about Miami because Miami dropped games last year that Indiana did not. So I don't hold Miami into the same category as Indiana because Indiana is undefeated. Miami showed flaws. They just came through the playoff being hot. I don't necessarily think that, like, had their only loss been to Indiana, who was the national champion, then maybe. But the fact that they lost to SMU and lost to who else did they lose to? Louisville. That I love your basis. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the basis of that. It's just you can poke the argument in there about that because they've had dropped games.
But they also beat Ohio State in that playoff.
That's true. But that's why this is fun.
No, that's why it's so tough.
That's why this is awesome.
And that's why I have Ohio State 3 because they return a lot of production offensively. They have to replace a lot of production defensively. So that's why, like, now I think Ohio State, like, wholeheartedly, like, if I had to pick a team today to win a national title, it'd be Ohio State. I think what Ohio State has on offense between their wide receiving core, Julian Sayin at quarterback, Bo Jackson at running back, I think they're the best team in the country.
Okay.
I also think that while they have to replace that production on defense, I believe they will because I think Patricia as their defensive coordinator gives college quarterbacks a completely different picture that they're looking at than what they're actually playing against, type of thing, where it goes back to the famous line of Sam Darnold, I'm seeing ghosts, to where like, sometimes I think their defense disguises so well of what they are doing in the back end and that stuff that quarterbacks literally see ghosts, and it makes them hold on to the football, and then that
Well,
pass rush gets home. Like I think Patricia is like an elite level defensive coordinator, which gives that defense an edge over most teams when you're talking about replacing production.
And steal a term you used the other night. I think you used it for Oregon, but you can use it for Ohio State too. They don't really replace; they just reload. Ohio
Right.
State.
I mean, you're just replacing with 5 stars.
Right.
You're replacing 5 stars with 5 stars.
That's annoying though, because like I hate that they get that benefit because of, like, if you go back to the time where Nebraska had to come from behind, I think it was Braxton Miller's freshman year when they lost in Lincoln. Was that the comeback game for the Huskers?
Isn't that the game that Levante David broke Braxton Miller?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how it happened, but I guess like it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it's how many years ago is that? I guess now it's probably 12, 14.
2011, wasn't it?
Oh,
no,
geez,
it was later than that.
No, 2011 was Nebraska's first year in the Big Ten. So
okay, regardless, it was when Luke Fickell was the interim head coach.
Yeah.
So it was a long time, but it wasn't that long ago where those athletes at Ohio State were not what they're pulling in now. And it drives me nuts that Ohio State is the brand that it is, because it wouldn't have been that way. I mean, it's a huge brand. It's one of the biggest brands there is. Like, I'm not downplaying that, but Urban Meyer is a huge reason why they are at the level of what they're able to do. Because otherwise, they were just another run-of-the-mill freaking Big Ten team, like Michigan, that is like big burly dudes that are physical and like, you know, might have a little, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I hate it that they're, because
they had great players. Like, they had Terrell Pryor, Maurice Clarett, but they weren't loaded at every single position.
Correct.
Or maybe they had like a top group, but they didn't have 5 stars on 5 stars on 5 stars.
I guess here's a sentiment that I have, I guess, Kale, to kind of poke at your argument or your disdain. Like, you talked about Indiana bringing in Turbo Richard to play running back.
Yeah.
What happens if Turbo Richard gets hurt? Who's the next guy up?
I don't know the answer to that.
Right. I don't know the answer to that either, but I guarantee you it ain't a 5-star running back.
No.
If Bo Jackson gets hurt, the next guy up at Ohio State is probably a 5-star running
There's
back.
Talks that Bo Jackson might not even start.
Because we have been talking about the SEC not being able to stockpile talent like they used to, and now we're applying that same argument to Ohio State, but conversely, meaning like, well, they just have other 5 stars. Like, is that really true? Since the SEC can't all of a sudden do that, like at Bama and Auburn or wherever, and like, but Ohio State can. Like, is Ohio State the pinnacle of recruiting?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's annoying to me. Is Ohio State the school?
Well, I'll tell you that
over Texas, like, or LSU.
Yes. Currently, yes. Like, just look at what Ohio State has done in their receiver room the last
decade.
I know.
You turn on a football game on NFL Sunday, and every freaking NFL team right now has got a Ohio State wide receiver that came out of the first round.
Yeah.
How about Oregon? You guys want to talk a little bit about Oregon?
Oregon returns the most production in the country. Like,
Right.
okay, Kale, to your sentiment right now, in the 2027 recruiting rankings, Ohio State is number 5. Texas A&M is number 1. Notre Dame's number 2. Miami's number 3. Oregon's number 4. Then it's Ohio State. Georgia's 14.
Where's Texas?
6.
Where's Iowa?
Who knows?
I think Oregon's biggest question marks is with the staff. Having to bring in a new OC and DC.
Yeah, but nothing changes. Nothing changes at Oregon. Like, you're not bringing in new systems. You're just having different people call the same plays. And I worry about the offense more than I do the defense. Because you know who's pulling the strings on the defense.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about defense. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me because Oregon can kind of start thinking in the same way that like Colin, you're gonna get pissed. If Iowa had a good offense the last 15 years that could actually move the ball and be dangerous offensively and create explosive plays to go with their defense, the Iowa we know today wouldn't even be Iowa. Like it'd be at a way higher level. Oregon is kind of in that same boat. They can create explosive plays, but it seems to me in big games they cannot do that. And it's been that way even when Chip Kelly was there. Oregon, for whatever reason, struggles to make big explosive plays in big games on a consistent basis when a lot of schools don't that are at the top. And like, so Oregon's got this, and I guess when they were able to do that, their defense was like largely marginal, like average to below average-ish or whatever. And now they've got their defensive stuff figured out with Dan Lanning, and now their offense sputters in big moments.
You want me to tell you why that is? It's because of the offensive scheme that Oregon runs. It's up tempo, it's space, it's
not up tempo. They don't run tempo anymore.
But they do. They don't.
It's
huddle.
Not at the level. Like when I say tempo, it's not at the level that they used.
It's not Brian Kelly.
Chip Kelly, you mean?
Chip Kelly.
Yeah, Chip Kelly.
Brian Kelly's tempo is like 39 seconds.
Yeah. No,
Chip Kelly's tempo is like 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like, but I would generally say that Oregon snaps the ball on a 40-second play clock with 18 to 15 seconds on the play clock. Like,
I think that's probably fairly average.
Right. And nobody's running tempo anymore because we kind of talked about this prior to the show. I'm going to save this because
you said this on the last time I was on.
I want to save this tidbit for the next set of
the next group.
Segments. Yes. But like, and I'll go into detail when we get there, but it's space. And then when Oregon gets in a big game, they can create explosive plays against Purdue and Boise State and Oklahoma State and all those teams because they out athletic them. Right. So that space, that pace and space offensive scheme works. But when you're playing Ohio State, when you're playing Georgia, when you're playing Alabama, he can match you athletically on the defensive side of the ball with what you have offensively. And then those guys get frustrated when they're not making big plays and it just blows up. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, but it used to be said that your tempo was an equalizer.
Well, yeah, just because people weren't used to playing that many plays in a football game, so conditioning became a factor. They're
Right.
nobody's running. I mean,
90
I think,
plays.
yeah, I think the average probably right now you're seeing plays in a game by an offense is like probably 60 to
That's
65.
the exact number I was going to use, 65.
You know, like when in Oregon's heyday with Chip Kelly, they were running like 95 to 100 plays in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's the equalizer because your offense is in better condition than the defense.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably a good point because usually those games, either if it didn't snowball early, it was a snowball late. It wasn't really in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our next group.
Yeah, we'll get to
And
6 through
then
10.
Read your 6 through 10 and then come back and read your 11 through 15.
Okay, since they're all kind of
Because I kind of want to
same.
talk about all these teams kind of in the same tier.
Yeah. So starting at 6, it's Georgia, LSU at 7, Texas at 8, Ole Miss 9, Texas A&M 10, Texas Tech 11, Alabama 12, USC 13, BYU 14, Michigan 15. Colin, the floor is yours.
So I'm intrigued by Georgia. Like I think Georgia could enter in that top 5 conversation. I don't think Texas is the top 5 team in the country. I don't think Texas A&M is. I used to think that Ole Miss was, but since I heard something last week, I think there's like I've been selling stock in Ole Miss in my own head the last couple weeks because there is not a team in the country, or I should say coaching staff in a country, because it doesn't really have to do with team. But since the green dot was awarded to quarterbacks where offensive coordinators could communicate directly to the quarterback, there is not a coaching staff in the country that has more points scored per game than Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weis Jr. And that's why I think LSU is in the top 5 conversation. Because when you put that offense, the highest scoring output offense potential, and marry that up with a Blake Baker defense, I think that creates a pretty good recipe. Now, I did say a couple weeks ago that the Blake Baker defense that LSU fans are accustomed to might not be exactly what you think it is or appears to be, because they're going to be on the field more than they were under a Brian Kelly offense, because Lane Kiffin doesn't manage the clock. He manages plays. And he's still, I think while I think they're on the higher end of the teams that run what you would consider a tempo offense. But he literally said to himself at the press conference, and this is where I was going with the Oregon conversation, I didn't want to spoil it for this, was they communicate with their quarterbacks until there's 15 seconds left on the play clock. And that's why they score so many points, because the play is they're in formation, but Charlie Weis Jr. is on the horn in Trinidad Chambliss' ear last year when he was at Ole Miss, going to be in Sam Leavitt's ear this year. Like, hey, you're getting one high safety. They're showing cover 3 in the defense. You know, this stuff, like LSU's motioning guys and basically showing the quarterback, like, hey, this is what I'm reading. You know, like basically the quarterback is being assured by the offensive coordinator of what his read is.
Yep.
Prior to the ball being put in play. And that's why I said, like, you know, most teams are using that full 35 or 25 seconds to get a play in and communicate, because there's communication going on. So you're not wanting to snap the ball every 9 seconds, because you can help your quarterback get to where they need to go. Or the quarterback's not having to make the audible. The offensive coordinator is actually audibling and the quarterback is just replaying what they're doing or relaying what they're doing. Like, and I honestly, I think it hurts some of these guys when they get to the next level because that stuff's not happening at the next level. They actually have to play quarterback. So that's why I think you see some of those guys not like a Tua or guys like that can't play quarterback at the next level because they can't process the game, because they haven't been coached to process the game.
Right.
Kale, I think this is Colin's conversation is perfect if you want to hit on the Joel Klatt show from Wednesday, where they went right into what Colin's talking about with how these guys are not prepared enough for the NFL.
I don't think I listened to that.
Okay. Yeah, he did a coach's conversation with Brady Quinn and Robert Griffin.
Yes, I was excited for that show, and I watched the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but then I got busy and I did not finish, or it was running and I forgot what I was even hearing. So
okay, I'll just tell you guys this. I listened to the first 10 minutes of the show and shut it off because I think Brady Quinn and Robert Griffin are both dumbasses. Like,
yeah, they went.
You give me different quarterbacks, I maybe listen to that show. Like Brady Quinn and Robert Griffin were both failed NFL dudes. Like, what the hell do they know? Like, Robert Griffin made it to the NFL because he was faster than everybody else, not because he was a good quarterback. Brady Quinn couldn't even make it in the NFL.
Well, he did say, okay, so I did find it interesting, and I'm not sure how relevant this is as much, but like how they switched their offense to show that Robert Griffin could be in a huddle and manage it. So he was in a huddle like 40 times in his career, just so they could have it on film. Like that was interesting to me. Just a sidebar there. But
so where I was going with it is they get into the conversation of offensive coordinators and quarterbacks and how quarterbacks are just getting thrown into like change to what the offense is instead of offensive coordinators changing to what their quarterback can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then not being ready when they get to the NFL because then the quarterback has had the offense change to like what's best for them instead of what's best for the team. If that makes sense.
Oh, you mean so like Dylan Raiola?
Essentially. I wasn't going there, but
it applies.
Yeah. Because that was what you were talking about with Robert Griffin, what they did for him.
Yeah, I just don't even like that at all. Like, I don't like that about football. I don't like it about college football. Like, I could give, as a fan or a coach, I could give two shits less about setting up my kid for the next level. Like, winning takes care of that.
Right.
In my opinion. Like, I don't care. Like, you can still learn, go win games. That gets you viewed, and then go get taught by the next coaches at the next level.
I mean,
like, that's my viewpoint. Because I might be in the minority of this. I don't honestly give a shit because I don't care about the NFL. Like, my passion lies within the college football ranks, and like, if you change your offense just because the quarterback needs to be comfortable, he's no different than anyone else. Like, he came to your school because of the stuff you were already doing beforehand, not because you changed everything. Like, I don't agree with that. Maybe it's off base, but I don't care. So
I hate the analogy that people give of, well, he's not good because he's a system quarterback. Your freaking quarterback should be a system quarterback. If you're not calling an offensive play book to fit the guy that best gives you the chance to win, then you're a pretty piss poor coach. Like, every quarterback, whether it's high school, college, NFL, should be a freaking system quarterback.
Here's what I'm going to say, and maybe you won't know exactly who I'm talking about. Maybe you'll be surprised, but like, in our era of watching NFL, so in the last 30 years-ish, who is the most fun quarterback to watch at the NFL level?
Patrick Mahomes.
Cody?
I despise him, but I don't disagree with him. Be
Okay,
Mahomes or Josh Allen.
okay, you guys are thinking way too recent for what I was going to say. I was going to say Brett Favre.
Well, yeah.
You know why? Because Brett Favre is a freaking gunslinger, and he'll go
Right.
freaking throw that ball and not take the safe freaking throw. Like he's going to go make a play and challenge the defense, and like to me, that's the way football should be played. Not this. I can't stand watching NFL dink and dunk, and then go take a shot. Like it drives me freaking bonkers watching 5-yard outs, 3-yard hooks,
Well,
check
then-
down, swing passes.
Well, I mean-
go take your 3 or 4 yards and live to play another day. Like, no, go take chances.
What's awesome about this conversation is this was literally Jameis Winston 3 years ago when he led the league in yards, but also threw 25 interceptions.
No, 25 interceptions might be on the low end.
But I don't like an interception. I don't, and this is where analytics. Oh my gosh, we're going to be completely off topic. I don't care. Analytics come into play because it's like, oh my gosh, well, it's a drive ender because he threw an interception. Yeah, but you're probably going to go 3 and out if the defense played well for 3 plays, you're going 3 and out. You're like, it doesn't matter because it's so dependent on whether or not the defense stays disciplined in their play call.
Correct.
And so if they do that, then you're not scoring points anyway. You're punting. So just go ahead and freaking challenge the defense into a situation where, like, you've got great receivers or whoever it is, like, make them go make a play. It's as good as a punt if it's an interception on a deep shot. Like, who gives a shit?
Right. Well, and I
that's
think
my theory, like,
I think in your category of players, like I went with a more recent route than what you did, Kale. But I think like there's a bigger, large sum of guys in that gunslinger mentality. Like, and I wouldn't even include Tom Brady in that conversation.
No, I don't think so. He was a game manager.
But like, look at like a Drew Brees, an Aaron Rodgers, a Brett Favre, even a Peyton Manning was kind of he wasn't necessarily like he was kind of a hybrid, but that's why those guys were successful is because
Yeah.
they would throw guys open.
Yeah. You might not agree, but I'd put Phillip Rivers in that group.
oh gosh, you jackass.
I mean, you could like the one thing that hurt this guy was his mobility, but Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
But you
But,
just
like,
named a ton of the quarterbacks that were like in the greatest era of NFL possible.
Right. But that's why it was the greatest era of NFL.
Right,
possible.
because
And
it's because of the philosophy behind it. Like,
but this kind of ties back to what we were talking about with quarterbacks being developed to play at the next level. Were any of those guys big time winners in college football?
No.
Peyton Manning was.
Was he?
And got
Murdered by Nebraska.
Oh God, one game, but by his college career, like, no, Tom Brady, no, Ben Roethlisberger, yes, at Miami of Ohio for the school size that he was at.
Right.
Brett Favre was good at Southern Miss. I mean, these aren't big time program colleges, but like,
Right.
they were successful in college.
But it kind of goes back to this, like, do you rate the success of your college football program? And this kind of goes back to what your sentiment is, Kale, is the success of a college football program, do you rate it on wins and losses? Would you rather be 13-0 and win a national title, or would you rather is a more successful program 10-2 and had 20 guys drafted in the NFL and had 8
I don't care
first-round
about the
draft
NFL.
picks?
I don't care any
Right.
metric that includes the NFL. I am
But
like
what I'm talking about, like, is as an athletic director, if your coach is consistently going 10-4 and putting 20 guys in the NFL every year, Meanwhile, your biggest
Well,
conference
then you're
rival-
probably going to get fired because if you have 20 guys in the NFL every year, you shouldn't be losing 4 games.
correct. but like this kind of goes back to the whole Bo Pelini thing getting fired at Nebraska. Like he was putting dudes in the NFL, but he wasn't competitive in big games
Right.
and got blown out. Like meanwhile,
That's actually who I was going to use as my reference point
Well,
when you.
this is
I'm
perfect.
gonna be like, well, no, because it's not about wins and losses because it's the story within the game. I'm not naive enough. I'm not some naive idiot that thinks like, oh, 10-2 is good. You know, like how many times have we talked about like it's the story within the story?
right,
Right.
And Will Blaney's downfall was the story within the story. Those
Which was
4
getting-
games, he couldn't beat anybody that won more than 7 games, and every time he lost, he'd lose by 40. You know, like,
right.
and it's just like, and I would take that right now. I would
Right.
take that right now.
I think
based off
what Colin's
last
explaining,
decade.
I think what
but-
Colin's explaining perfectly suits Iowa. Consistently putting 7 to 8 guys a year in the NFL, consistently 8-4, 9-3.
Correct.
That's insane to me, though. Yeah.
But like Kale said, if Iowa was remotely anything on offense,
Right.
they would be Indiana.
And
Yeah.
really,
That's
it's just a quarterback because they have one of the top offensive lines every single year.
Yeah, but it's not just about the quarterback because like the only people that they're putting in the NFL are offensive and defensive linemen, and maybe
And tight
an
ends.
occasional tight ends and an occasional linebacker
White
here,
defensive back.
but they're like one guy. They have one defensive back worth a damn in the NFL. They don't have a single receiver worth a damn in the NFL. They don't have a single freaking. Who's your other corner that's worth a shit in the NFL from Iowa?
Riley Moss.
He sucks donkey dick.
To you.
Yeah, but as a Denver Broncos fan, you should hate that guy. Teams literally pick on him.
Yeah,
Well, because you hate him doesn't mean he's bad.
Well, are you going to throw at Patrick Surtain? No.
Well, Jordan Love did the other night. But anyways, back, but no, like if you go freaking look Riley Moss up, like he's one of the worst defensive backs in the NFL right now currently. Like if you go look at his Pro
PFF.
Football Focus PFF, which I think I went on about this previous
Yeah.
shows, which I think PFF is garbage, but like he's one of the worst PFF graded defensive backs in the NFL. Like I was not putting running backs in the league. They're not putting quarterbacks in the league. They're not putting wide receivers in the league. They're not putting defensive backs. They're developing offensive and defensive linemen. That's all they're doing.
Yeah. So they're. It's Iowa. Well, I would rather have. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Iowa because I want to just be like, I want to totally embrace what they do, but at the same time, it's like, geez, Louise, dude. Like, if you just figured out that you need 2 more pieces here or there, like how good you would be. Like, it's freaking stupid. Like,
And it's not like Iowa's not recruiting those guys to try to come. Those guys just aren't coming.
Right.
You know, like Trey Taylor skipped over Iowa City to get to Lincoln. You know, like Trey Taylor is what you would say was in Iowa's recruiting footprint.
Right. Hour
What
and a
is
half
that?
from campus.
I was gonna say,
What's-
what is Iowa's freaking recruiting footprint?
Chicago, St. Louis.
Iowa recruits Iowa, develops them, and puts 50 pounds on them, turns them into an offensive lineman, and sends them to the NFL.
Giltner, Nebraska.
Let's get back on schedule here.
Yeah.
So out of this next,
Hey,
we'll break
organic
it down.
conversation is good.
Right. Back to this. So we tiered our top 5 out of this next 5. I mean, we
Next
can
10.
all.
Because we read off 10.
I understand that, but I'm going to go in groups of 5 here
Okay.
because I think you can lump these 10 into the next group of 5. But who in this next group of 5, 6 through 10, would you say are national championship contenders? Like, do we think Georgia currently right now is a national championship contender? I say no.
I say yes.
It depends completely on their pass rush and their wideouts.
In the run game.
Like, I think LSU for sure is in this.
Well, their run game is going to be good. It's can they throw the ball when they need to, and can their pass rush get to the quarterback like it did 5 years ago?
Like
But
I would say
LSU, I would
Texas
agree.
is more. I would say Texas is more of a national championship contender threat than Georgia.
I wouldn't. My
Nah.
opinion.
It's so I love this. I love this comparison because you can argue that I think Texas has the core nucleus of players that's better. I think that Georgia's coaching is by far better.
But here's Armenian is better than Gunnar Stockton. Hollywood Smothers is better than Nate Frazier. Ryan Wingo is better than anything that Georgia remotely has.
Right. So is Cam Coleman.
Yeah. Like I would if I was to pick two guys out of this next year, and like I used to think that Ole Miss was in this conversation, but I love Trinidad Chambliss. And I want Ole Miss to be good because I love Trinidad Chambliss. I honestly think that Trinidad Chambliss is the best quarterback in this next upcoming. Like, I think Trinidad Chambliss is the best NFL prospect quarterback right now because that dude has had to work to get to where he's at. He has not been given.
So you're saying it's because he's hungry and he's not complacent.
Right. That dude has had to work to get to where he's at. I don't think Texas A&M's in this conversation. I would group those three middle. I mean, because you're literally talking about the SEC. All five of those teams are from the SEC.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would put Ole Miss, Texas, LSU all ahead of Georgia.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Georgia's bringing back 85% of their production from a year ago and retains the whole staff. They have one of the best offensive lines in the conference, and their defense is legit.
And their schedule,
I would take their defense over all those guys' defenses.
Their schedule is buns compared to the rest of the SEC. Like I'll give you that. Like,
yeah, but
I don't know.
I think LSU, Texas, and Ole Miss are all better at the main position that you need your team to be than Georgia is, which is quarterback.
And I would take Georgia's defense over all those because you have to also play defense.
I don't know that you would against. I don't know that Georgia's defense is better than Ole Miss or Texas's.
I think it's better.
I wouldn't say it's better. I wouldn't say it's not in terms of any gap. Like if it's better, it's not by a huge margin.
Dude, I think you're underselling what LSU has on defense.
Who?
Me.
Cody is.
I don't know. Based on my rankings, I put LSU ahead as the leader in the SEC. Like I'm totally bought in. Like I'm not a Lane guy, but I'm not stupid enough to not think that he's not going to be successful.
The biggest question mark I have for LSU is Sam Leavitt.
Not for me. The things that I've been reading on him and out of his first 2 years, and all the spin of how good he was prior to that little hand injury last year. That was the same. Wasn't that the same injury that freaking Mateer had?
Maybe, but
well, I'm just saying. It matters because Leavitt was awesome until that happened. His production sharply dropped after that injury.
It also sharply dropped after he lost having Cam Scatabo behind him.
That's not true. Not until after he got hurt.
Because he had a running game that could offset the passing game.
Dude, and I'm telling you, LSU is going to run the football. They have two really good running backs. They have, like, I'm more worried about what LSU has at wide receiver than anything, but I think their wide receivers are going to be fine.
I will take that back because Sam Levitt did have an awful game in Starkville last year. But
so, okay, who's the team moving on here? Because we're already 50 minutes into this.
I think we can. One thing we can all agree on is Texas A&M's out.
Yes.
All right.
Who out of that next five of Texas Tech, Alabama, SC, BYU, and Michigan would you move into the tier with
Above?
Yeah,
above
with those
them?
next. Yeah, I think there's only one team here.
I think there's one team, but I don't think it's the same as what you think.
I think there's two teams, both from the same conference.
Oh, I don't think it's from the Big 12.
I think it's BYU and Tech.
I don't think it's Tech, but I think it's BYU.
I don't think it's either one of them. I think it's actually USC.
I don't hate that SC analogy. Like if I had to pick a second team, it would be SC.
Yeah, I actually had them 10th on my list.
I'm all in on SC. The
Actually,
only
I had
thing that
them
worries me is
Actually,
SC's
I had them ninth.
receivers.
You said the USC receivers were you?
That's the only one that worries me is their receiving group. I think they're so
Why?
strong at running back, quarterback, O-line, defense.
Okay, so based on your philosophy on why Sam Levitt was good, then why can't that same principle be applied to USC if their strong run game is going to be a thing?
Here's I never get worried about wide receivers because a lot of your wide receiver play.
Dime a dozen. I love when you said this last year.
Yes, like wide receiver play depends on your freaking quarterback. And Jaden Maiava is a freaking good quarterback.
He's damn good quarterback.
Like again, that's why I worry about Georgia is because Gunnar Stockton can't make a good wide receiver. Jordan Maiava can make a good wide receiver. Sam Leavitt can make a good wide receiver. Trinidad Chambliss can make a good wide receiver. Like, and I think BYU is in this tier because I think they're going to play defense.
Yeah.
And they're going to run the football. And they're going to be in games like they're going to be in that Notre Dame game.
Oh, yeah.
How are they that much different? Like, how is BYU, with the exception of I trust Bear Bachmeier 100 times more, and typically their run game, how are they that much different than Iowa? Philosophically.
Because they play in the Big. They're like philosophically they're not, but they're better because they play in the Big 12 and not the Big 10. Like if you put BYU in the Big 10, they're Iowa.
Okay. So then why are they up in the top 10 potentially if they're the same identical team as Iowa? But if you put them in a different conference, they'd be down more than they would be if they're in the Big 12.
Because of their win-loss.
But that's not how rankings work.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
how power ratings work. Rankings do not work that way.
But I'm telling you, if you put a 12-1 BYU next to an 8-4 Iowa, everybody's going to go, we'll take BYU.
I'm not sure you could say that even a year ago. I love this. Like, I'm not trying to poke.
But I'm also going to tell you, if Iowa played Notre Dame, they would not be in the game.
Then why would BYU be in it? Are you saying
quarterback play?
Because of quarterback play. You said it.
Quarterback
play.
Okay. Yes, I did. But I don't.
And I will tell you this: LJ Martin at BYU's running back is better than anything Iowa has.
That's what I said too. I said that.
LJ Martin, it's him and Kewan Lacey.
I just said the BYU run game. But I think that Mark Gronowski by the end of last year was no different than Bear Bachmeier. Now this year it's completely different because Iowa has no quarterback that's any good
that we know of.
yet, which we didn't know last year, even after 4 weeks, because he's throwing dirt balls all freaking first 4 weeks of the season.
Dirtball Gronowski.
I mean, they burning his gosh dang jersey last year.
I still think that Bear Bachmeyer is better than Mark Gronowski last year.
We talked about it when we talked
I-
Big 12. Does anyone realize he can throw the football? I know it caught me off guard. I didn't know it.
Like the team that I would buy the least stock in this grouping here would be Texas Tech.
It's just so hard because I've seen Will Hammond make really good throws, but
You could talk me into
Not
any of these other four
consistent
teams ahead of Texas Tech.
enough. It's not consistent enough. Like there's something about Texas Tech that feels a little bit like one hit wonder ish to me, but even though I know that's not the case, but it just feels that in my gut with last year. Like I just feel like there's going to be something in play that's going to knock them down. They're going to lose like 2 games.
I want to go back to and go against everything I just said with Texas Tech because I think they can coach Will Hammond back to being a system guy where they can rely on the run game because they have a stable of running backs and just ask Will Hammond to do exactly opposite of what you like. Go to your checkdowns, hit 3 or 4 yard passes. You have the best tight end in the conference. You're going to have, like Colin said, you can make receivers good, but he's not going to ask him to challenge the ball down the field. They're going to lean on the run game and short passing.
Did you hear that from somewhere before?
I was just agreeing to what you were saying.
Because I'm pretty sure that I said Texas Tech, if you go back and listen to the Big 12 preview, is going to be a different Texas Tech than what everybody's used to because they're going to run the football.
No, we both agreed to that.
But here's what I'll tell you. Texas Tech has better wide receivers than maybe anybody outside of Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas in the top 10.
Yeah. Miami.
They got better wide receivers than Miami.
As a core.
Yeah.
Miami might have one guy better.
I was gonna say you can't overplay the single one guy that's obviously better
Right.
than the
That's what I like. Like Ohio State has Enos and Jeremiah Smith and one other dude. Indiana has Becker and Marsh. Texas has Coleman and Wingo. Texas Tech has Eaton and Micah Hudson.
Trying to remember the name of the Duke kid that came over to Miami with Mensa.
Well, the one that was really good at Duke went to Virginia Tech. Quayshawn Brown's at Virginia Tech.
Let's get into our next 5.
Okay, so the next 5
16
are,
through 20.
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
you were reading something, so I was going to go for it then.
16 Oklahoma, 17 SMU, 18 Penn State, 19 Tennessee, 20 Washington.
Okay, so I think there's one team, maybe 2 that you could move up a tier here.
I've got 2 that I like.
I would sell stock in 3 of them.
Is Penn State one of your teams?
Me?
Yeah.
They are, but I'm a little leery on Penn State yet.
And that I was going to ask, is it because of their schedule?
Yes.
Yeah.
They play the easiest schedule in the Big Ten. But the Big 12 coming to the Big 10 scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's always worked out before. Or it worked out before, same way it did in the SEC. Is the Big 12 the best conference back in the day? Because everybody that leaves the Big 12 ends up having really good time in the next conference. So if you apply that same principle to a roster, coming down. And I think Iowa State and the way they played football translates well to what Big Ten schools typically do anyway. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
It's the defense that worries me for Penn State.
Yeah, I can see that.
Although I will say Penn State was not one of my teams that I was eyeing that I like.
I know who your teams are. You don't even have to beat around.
Obviously SMU, but I don't think you know the second one.
It's Tennessee.
It's not Tennessee.
Bull honky donkey.
I have them winning those games in the SEC preview, but I'm not sold on it. The only reason I like Tennessee is because those games are in Neyland, but I don't understand why I did what I did because I don't even know who their quarterback is, and that's such a big thing for me.
Neither do they.
So and they've also lost a ton of guys to injury already in fall camp.
And I wanted to say that Cody, you'll like this because I'm getting higher on Washington with each day.
Love Washington.
I would, if I was actually to tier this, I would go SMU, and then it's a toss up between Oklahoma and Penn State. I might be buying stock back in Oklahoma.
Yeah, they're gonna have a good defense. Mateer's gonna be 100% healthy.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that none of us really talked about Michigan at 15.
I like their coaching staff, and if they can do what they did with Devin Dampier, with Bryce Underwood, they scare the shit out of me.
I had Michigan at 11, so.
You like Michigan too. I got them at 14.
If what was said about Bryce Underwood being Devin Dampier, then I didn't need to hear it.
I had him at 12.
I didn't have to hear anything else.
I have Michigan at 16.
But
that's actually where the computer has them. Levi had him at 15.
With Washington, as you were just talking about him, I know you guys aren't as high on Damon Williams, but I think he's going to be really good this year. Roebuck's going to be good. Offensive line's all back. I don't know if they have the athletes to stay in a game against like USC and Oregon.
Nebraska.
That's what scares me. No, they're going to beat Nebraska.
Not on Halloween in Lincoln.
They're going to beat Nebraska.
Not on Halloween in Lincoln.
I'm not sure they beat Nebraska either. Like, I'm not willing to guarantee that, but I do think because I have to see games. I got to see games on defense with this whole San Diego State guy rather than John Butler being the dipshit that he was running man-only coverage or with letting the quarterback run free on third down every single time. Like, if that's the case, then Washington will convert every third down on the fucking planet. But
Washington's got a dual-threat quarterback. When's Nebraska stopped a dual-threat quarterback?
This year.
That was my point. That was literally just my point.
Yeah, literally.
I literally just said that. I literally said it without just saying it.
Sorry. Excuse Cody. He just blacked out for 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's been itching to say that he didn't even realize what I was talking about.
Yeah, that's too exciting.
Because I said we have to watch games to be able to make a better prediction because the San Diego State D coordinator has to be better at situational play calling than dipshit John Butler.
Right.
So
I just think there's communication breakdowns, and I don't look for that to happen. Anyway,
all right. We're running at an hour, so do we want to do the next 5 or the next 10?
Just do the next 10.
All right. 21, we had Utah, Auburn 22, Louisville 23, Illinois 24, Clemson 25, Florida 26, Houston 27, Iowa 28, NC State 29, South Carolina 30. In that grouping, is there anyone a lot lower than you would think?
Utah.
My two would be Utah and Illinois, but Illinois not by much.
Now, Illinois, like that grouping, like Auburn, Louisville, Illinois, Clemson, they can't be higher than what they are. I mean, realistically, anybody 22 through 30 can't be higher than what they are to start this year, based on what's in front of them. Like Utah is the only one. Like, I think you could put Utah ahead of Tennessee and Washington. I had Utah 17. So didn't you, Cody?
Yeah. No, I had them ahead of Oklahoma and Penn State.
I just realized that I missed them. I don't have them ranked.
I thought for the longest time, Cale, that you had Texas Tech not in your rankings.
Oh, you're highlighted on it. That's why I can't see it. Yeah, I don't have Utah in.
No.
I did not realize I missed out on Utah.
But that, I mean,
I'm not
you can understand it, though.
I'm not necessarily sold that they. I mean, Dampier's a big deal. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're going to be good. But
they're replacing two of their offensive linemen and both defensive ends.
I don't
and
see
their coach and their OC.
Right. I'm not saying that they should be higher than 21. I can make an argument that they're right where they need to be based on what the composite is. Like, I would have put them probably somewhere in a similar spot. But I will say, though, that Penn State and Tennessee I had in this group.
The 21 through 30.
Yes.
I know I definitely had Tennessee.
And I had Washington, BYU, and Auburn as 18, 19, 20 in that order.
I think you're going to be buying stock in BYU after watching them play, Cale.
I'm not big on the Big 12. I'm way higher on the ACC than I am the Big 12.
We know.
Is there any teams?
I would actually say that Utah and Auburn could maybe both be ahead of Tennessee and Washington, but I'm not sold on Auburn until I see them play.
Gosh, I wish it was this week.
I know.
I'm not.
We have games this week.
I think it's here's one for you personally that I think is in the list in our rankings that I think is absolutely crazy because based on what they did last year and like I think there's no way you can put Florida in the top 30.
I thought for sure you were going to say South Carolina.
No. Because South Carolina
I thought you were going to mention that.
Basically proven it with the same roster.
Yeah, but they had those injuries like a week ago that wide receiver.
Honestly right now today I would put Florida and Nebraska on even playing field. And I don't think Nebraska belongs in the top 30 right now.
I think Florida has the athletes.
I just don't see how it doesn't matter. Like this is kind of where I'm getting like records don't matter. They don't matter.
And I'm not saying anything about Florida's record. Here's what I probably put too much stock into this. I mean, whatsoever. Like, you just go through the list, and you're like, CJ Carr, Julian Sayin, Josh Hoover sucks like a vacuum. Dante Moore, Darian Mensah, Gunnar Stockton, Sam Leavitt. Like, you go through and like you can put stock in everybody's quarterback. Like, Alabama might be higher on this list if Keelan Russell is who they think he is.
Yeah, in week 5.
You
Like,
you
let
have
5 weeks go by, and you might change your tune in terms of how you view Keelan Russell with him being such a new one now.
but what I'm saying is, like, I don't think you can, like, and I think the same sentiment about Clemson and Iowa. Like, there's too much question in Louisville, too much question about how good their most valuable position on the field is, quarterback.
Which schools? Louisville, Florida, and who?
Louisville, Clemson, Florida, Iowa.
Oh yeah, Iowa.
Those are the 4 teams, excluding Alabama and Tennessee, on this list that we have no idea about their quarterback play.
Right, because we don't have any. Oh my gosh, what's the word that you use here?
There's no previous
We don't-
history.
we don't have any-
Justification.
No, we don't have any sample size. We don't have a
Right.
sample for them. So that's why you can trust Kattenhauser at freaking Illinois, because you have a sample from him.
Correct.
It's just a matter of whether or not that scales to the Big Ten.
Right.
Byron Brown, same thing. Does it?
Yeah, but
scale?
the thing about Kattenhausen is he's already played in the Big Ten.
Well, but I'm saying the majority of his allure comes from being in the American Conference.
Correct.
But the same thing with Byron Brown. And I mean, I think that those quarterbacks in the American Conference last year were freaking really good, all of them. A year ago, I mean,
Right.
Messmaker, Hauser, Navy's Horvath. He was good.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm missing one too, obviously.
Memphis before he got hurt.
But yes, he was good until he had the lower leg injury.
Like, this is kind of funny, but if you're going to take 2 teams out of that bottom 5 and vault them up into like the 4th or 5th tier of teams here, in my opinion, it's Houston and NC State.
I have no qualms with that.
I was going to say NC State. I was not going to say Houston.
Houston was the first one I was going to say. I love Houston's roster this year.
And like Houston, again, good quarterback play. Have Mekhi Hughes at running back with Willie Fritz. And again, Houston's got 2 really good wide receivers. And plus, they got a 5-star quarterback that might be knocking right on the heels of Wayman. Yeah. Like I would be willing to put, like, if you flip-flopped Louisville and Clemson with Houston and NC State, I would put a green arrow up on that whole 21 through 25 tier. That whole tier could go higher than what they are.
Yeah, but I think it's just hard to justify. Are they in the tier, or do you have to move teams back? Because, like, are we just saying it's the state of college football is deeper than what people are giving credit for right now already in the preseason? Because I would agree with that.
Yes, because like I'll get into this. I mean, it's going to kind of morph right into our next show, but I was telling you guys this. I sentimented this to you, Kale, when we were hanging out. Like, I think the floor in college football is 5-7.
Yeah.
Most places. Like, if you can't get your team to go 5-7, you probably should be fired. Or be put on the hot seat. Like, out of the 61 Power 4 programs.
Well, that's saying you only have to win 2 conference games. I mean, in a large piece of that, 2 to 3.
But out of the 68 Power 4 programs, I have 49 of them being 5-7 or better. I have 25 of them being 9-3 or better. I have 19 of them being 10-2 or better.
Mm. I mean, it's not
Like-
going to go that way, but that's
No,
crazy.
it's not. But like, if college football was to go exactly how I predicted it to go, there would be one loss. There would be multiple one-loss regular season one-loss teams, not counting conference championship games, because some of those teams would end up with a second loss.
hmm But a lot of that is because you'd have to go chalk though with a lot of it and not have any big upsets, which is going to happen. Like you
Correct.
couldn't have Florida beating
Right.
Texas last year. You can't
Right.
have South
Correct.
Carolina beating Georgia, which is who I had just to have Georgia have a loss.
Right.
Like
Louisville
that,
beating Miami.
yeah, that doesn't happen in those scenarios. So like, and you can never account fully with where those are going to happen because they can happen anywhere, and especially with as deep as college football has gotten.
Right, but
Like,
this is what I'm.
You could usually pinpoint like who's the dark horses to play, spoiler or whatever. Now you could be anyone. It could be
Right.
anyone in the
Yeah.
top 50.
Right.
Right.
But that, I mean, we're all sharing the same sentiment. Like, your college football is deeper than what it's ever been. Like,
Yeah.
and it's part of the reason why we chose to do a consensus top 30 instead of a consensus top 25, because we largely don't think that the gap between 20 and 30 is that big.
1000%.
I don't think the gap between 15 and 30 is that big.
And I would even go beyond 30 because Virginia should be on here. I have no argument if Virginia was on here. They're not, but
I think that based off of our top 30 on the composite, I think that 1 through 10 plus 12, 13, and 15 are the ones. I think those are the clear, like, they would probably smash number, 40. I'm not sold on everybody else smashing number 40.
Texas Tech and BYU would smash number 40.
So Nebraska?
Yes.
Texas Tech
Yes.
and BYU would not smash 40. BYU wouldn't smash them. I guess
Yeah.
that's one of those things. It's like, well, what does the word smash mean?
Right.
Would
And I'm not
BYU
gonna use
physically-
I'm not gonna use
would
transitive
BYU
property.
physically, from a schematic standpoint, smash 40? Yes. Would Texas Tech by a score? Could also be true.
Well,
But
21 smashed
BYU
Nebraska.
is not lighting up the scoreboard. Sorry, they're not.
To use your argument.
In a fucking bowl game, Cody, that nobody gives two shits about.
What are you talking about?
He's like
I said
21
21
smash Nebraska. They would if they wouldn't have if Emmett Johnson plays, and TJ Lateef wasn't on one leg. Like, that analogy is awful. Get it out of here. I put zero stock in what happens in bowl games that are not the college football playoff. Or the Pop-Tart Bowl, because I like the Pop-Tart Bowl.
That should just be like the championship of those that do not make the playoff.
The Pop-Tart Bowl should be the national championship game.
I agree.
Don't at me.
I love the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Like,
Are
whoever wins the college football national championship should get a sponsorship from Pop-Tart for the next year. Like, you get free Pop-Tarts for the next year.
I can't remember the exact stat, but it's like 4 or 5 years in a row now. One team in the top 10 at least one team in the top 10 has finished the year unranked. So if you're to pick one of these 10 teams, who would you pick?
Texas
that will
A&M.
finish?
What'd you say?
He picked Texas A&M.
What was the question?
Oh, if you're gonna pick one of the teams in this top 10 to finish the year unranked, who would it be?
Well, it'd have to be A&M because of schedule, but I don't think they'd really actually be worthy of being unranked. Like, it's not because they're actually unrankable. It's probably because they just had bad luck with some losses based off of their strength of schedule. That's a tough question because I don't think any of those teams are even possible to be unranked.
But we probably thought that last year with Penn State and Clemson heading into the year.
I wouldn't have said that about Clemson.
Well, yeah, but Penn State lost their quarterback in the UCLA game. Like, that's you can't predict
Correct.
those things. Had he been
Correct.
healthy, that's not the case.
You take
Or
all
firing of James Franklin. Like, I mean, that was just a shit storm last year.
I
Like,
know
you
that's what
can't-
I'm saying. But would you have predicted any of that in the preseason? That's
No,
the same
but
now.
that's
We
why
don't know what's going to
I'm
happen
not
this year.
predicting Texas A&M to be unranked because I can't predict whether or not Mike Elko has a heart attack on the freaking sideline. You know, like, that's an unpredictable thing.
Yeah, but I think I get what you're saying, Kale. I get what you're saying, Cody, what you're asking. Like I value or evaluate it to this. Like, look at South Carolina last year. Everybody thought they were like a top 15 team. Like, I could
Cody
see
didn't.
Texas.
Cody called it.
I could see Tech, but exactly like that. That's what he's asking. Like, that's what he's asking us to do. I could see Texas A&M being South Carolina.
Yeah.
I can't. Marcel Reed's too much of a dynamic playmaker. Like, it's the quarterback play and what he was able to do. He's too dangerous, dude. Mobile quarterback,
But he doesn't have his
But it
OC
wasn't-
anymore.
Yeah, okay, but I'm not gonna
Mike Elko has succeeded everywhere he's been.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, like, nobody predicted South Carolina's offensive line to suck last year.
Cody
Yeah.
did.
And like I would put Lenore Sellers and Marcel Reed on the same playing field. Like, I think they're equal quarterbacks. Like,
I
they're
will
both.
say, let me get back to the Marcel Reed thing because I don't think Marcel Reed's a great passer. Like, I think he
Correct.
needs to improve. But it didn't freaking matter with Riley Leonard not being a great passing quarterback for either Notre Dame or when he was at Duke under Mike Elko. You know, so like, I just think, like, I mean, you can say the same thing about Cincinnati last year. Sorsby wasn't a great passer, but you know what he was really good at doing was keeping plays alive.
Yeah.
And that's what Marcel Reed is going to do. And so, like, that gives you a better chance than freaking Fatu in the back where you're getting sacked in freaking 5 seconds or 3 seconds because you have no pocket awareness. You know, it's like, that's not the situation here.
So is Lenore Sellers not good at keeping plays alive?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but that's what South Carolina's problem was last year. Is their offensive line was not good, which led to Lenore Sellers running for his life the whole entire freaking
right. But
game.
South Carolina's offense too is much more predicated off of, like, not being an improvisation offense, which I would argue that Texas A&M's offense is more geared to allow for improv. Whether that's quantifiable or not, that's my gut in the way that I view it. Maybe I could be argued off of that because I could be completely wrong, and maybe I'm viewing South Carolina as a stagnant offense because of just the way that, you know, it's still kind of similar to the way when Satterfield was there, you know, because head coaches don't typically change, like, completely offensive schemes like that. So, like, even though they blamed Satterfield for being a dumbass and a shitty play caller, well, Beamer is largely still going to look at something that's completely something that translates rather than wholesale changing offenses. So it's much more pro style than what Texas A&M's is, I guess, is my point.
Now that you explained it, I'm 100% understanding what you're saying. Yes.
I understand what you're saying too, but you're avoiding the question, I guess.
Okay, give me the question again.
Who is one team in the top 10 that you could see being unranked?
I'm not avoiding that. I'm telling you what I think. I don't think there is one. That's my answer.
But if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Because for 5 straight years, there has been at least one that has finished the year unranked.
I can't predict catastrophe, dude, because those 10 teams, if one's going to finish unranked, something catastrophic would have to happen, and that's unpredictable. So, like,
Kale, we need a clip so we can clip you and remind you in January when said team wins the national title that you thought that they were going to go unranked at the end of the year.
I can't do that.
That's what we're trying to get you to do, but you're being
Just like when I called
being
LSU
too
sucking
logical.
and
Am I
Brian
being too
Kelly getting
logical?
fired.
I'm being too smart.
And on the flip side of calling that LSU, I also said Oregon was going to suck last year, and they didn't.
Okay, so let me do this. There are teams in the top 15 that I could argue that, not the top 10.
okay. Who's in your top 15 that happening with?
In my top 15 or the composites?
The composite, because that's
In the
what's up.
composite.
BYU.
You're wrong.
Because I think as much as I don't like the Big 12, I do think that Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Arizona are issues. And obviously Houston. And so I don't know what BYU's schedule is, but I'm like, if it's deeper than it was a year ago, then you'd lose 3-4 games in there and things go bad, which I can't predict. BYU could be the school.
The good news is for all those teams that you just answered or asked about, BYU plays none of them.
Okay, well.
Except for Utah.
Well, then I guess BYU is not one of those schools. And that's why they're not going to be in the top 15, shouldn't be in the top 15 anyway, because they don't play anyone good.
They play Utah and they play Notre Dame.
Well, they're going to lose to Notre Dame and they might lose to Utah.
They play Arizona.
Well, you just said they didn't play Arizona, and that was one of the schools I named.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Arizona. I thought you said Arizona State.
Any Arizona with Noah Fafita on it is good.
Because they play both Arizona and Arizona State.
Well, and Kenny Dillingham, dog.
You know a game to circle on BYU's schedule if you're like, there's their trap game, there's their game that they might lose. Is
UCF.
Coming off of Notre Dame, they fly across the country to play Central Florida.
Okay.
Boys, we got football games to talk about Wednesday.
I can't wait to talk Sac State.
Get to see Mayava.
Do we open with the Ball Sack Bowl?
No, that's until week 7.
Yeah, we do get to see USC San Jose State.
Yeah.
USC's favored by 38.5. So,
Colin, did you see that Virginia, NC State's being played in Charlottesville?
No, I did not see that.
It's not going to be in Brazil.
I like NC State even more in that game now. Why is it not going to be in Brazil?
Something with logistics didn't work out.
AKA, it's too dangerous.
Pretty much.
Correct.
The politically correct way to say it's too dangerous. It's logistics.
All right. I think that's a good spot to wrap up. This was
whoa,
fun,
whoa,
boys.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Whoa,
whoa,
what?
whoa. You want a lightning round question?
Yep, I'm in.
Yep.
Okay. Best newcomer coach at the end of the 2026 season, meaning he's at a new school, not that he's a first-time coach.
Lane Kiffin.
I can't do that. I can't make predictions.
Piss off, Cody. Lane Kiffin.
Best.
Cody out. Keep going. Lightning round.
No, best new coach at a new team. Eric Morris.
I like that one too. Okay. Freshman, everybody's going to know by the end of October.
Luke Waffle USC defensive end.
A freshman everybody's going to know. Oh, Jamal Rule.
Oh my god. Okay. Best defense
Hey, sorry I didn't take the number one prospect in the fucking nation.
He wasn't number one.
God, he was a top 5 recruit in the country.
He was
Sorry I gave you a 3-star.
for Nebraska.
Yeah, it's probably more yeah, okay. All right. Best defense in America at the end of the regular season.
What are we basing that off of?
Oh yeah, because that could be.
Okay, caveat to that. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just go scoring defense to make it simple.
Oregon.
Ooh.
LSU.
Oh my gosh, that is not possible. If they have the best scoring defense, then they're unchallenged. This is the closest thing to a not deep freaking. It's not deep at the very top then. Because if LSU has the best offense and the best defense, then the season's not even worth watching.
Sorry, I predicted a team that doesn't have the best defense returning in the country.
No, I think you can predict it. I just think like that sucks because you've already been talking about how LSU's offense is going to be the best offense in the country, and now you think LSU's defense.
Well,
is gonna be the
news flash for you, Kale. When we predict
and their schedule is probably the most going to be the most tested group of anyone in the top 10 in that composite poll by the season's end too. Meaning they'll have played the hardest schedule.
News flash for you: when we do our college football prediction show on Wednesday with our week 0 preview, I'm saying all this, and I do not have LSU predicted as my national champion.
Okay. Best offense. You already said it. Cody, go.
No, I haven't said LSU is going to be the best offense.
You did.
No, I said that Lane Kiffin. What?
You said with the green dot.
I said they've been the best offense. That's a statistical stat. That is not a prediction.
It was an assumed thing. It's an assumed thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they're going to be the best offense. That's why I don't think they're winning the national title.
Okay, Cody, best offense.
Scoring again?
Yeah.
Best scoring offense in the country? BYU.
No, the best scoring offense in the country is going to be somebody like Boise State.
He said,
no, let's go P4.
Well, okay. But
I just thought it was assumed it was P4. Because otherwise you could go G4 or whatever for defense too.
Well, I'll tell you this. Ohio State's going to outscore BYU. Ohio State's going to score like freaking 45 plus a game.
No, they're not. They can, but they won't because I don't think Julian Sain's going to be a risk taker enough.
I was just thinking of schedule.
Yeah, but BYU doesn't score at a clip like that.
They score efficiently, though.
Yeah,
you go back. You go look at their scores, and I was surprised you didn't go do this, but because I was like, they're not going to score a lot of points, but they might because I went back and looked at their schedule right after I was kind of dissing on their offense. They scored plenty last year.
Yeah, if you keep going back and looking at BYU, you're going to realize Bear Bachmeier is better than you think he is.
No, he wears 47, so I can't.
Well, that's hard to get behind. I agree.
Okay, let's move on. Give me. I like this. Give me one team that you're irrationally high on.
Wisconsin. Or not
LSU.
Wisconsin, Washington.
LSU.
That is
Washington.
not irrational.
Yeah, it is. They won like 5 games last year.
Washington.
Why Wisconsin?
Washington.
No,
Oh,
Cody.
you
No,
said
Cody.
Wisconsin.
I know. I said
Cody,
I meant with
Your
Washington.
team, your irrational high team is neither one, Washington or Wisconsin.
I didn't mean to say Wisconsin. I accidentally said
Oh,
Wisconsin
his
has
is
nothing to do
Louisville.
with this.
It's Louisville.
Yes, your team is Louisville. You can't backtrack. Mine is
I'll
NC
take it.
State.
I'll still
Mine is
jump on
NC State.
Louisville.
I was gonna say mine might be SMU or NC State.
Yeah, but SMU is not really irrational. They were like
I know it's
11-2
not.
last year.
That's why I said it's probably NC State or Auburn. I'm super high on Auburn, and there's a lot of question marks there.
Okay, I'll stick with Louisville.
Okay, next question. You ready? Last one.
Yep.
One bold prediction that's going to make you look like a genius or an idiot.
I can't rapid fire that one.
CJ Bailey wins the Heisman Trophy.
Can I say it if I've said it in a
I feel like
recent?
Colin stole all of my CJ Bailey NC State stuff, and now I'm pissed that I missed those episodes.
Can I say it if I've said it on?
I've been saying that all summer. Oh.
If I've said it in a podcast.
Well, that was before
can
I
say it
realized
again?
what NC State's schedule looked like.
Yeah. Okay. What, Cody?
Can I say it if I've said it in a show before this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Josh Heupel is fired by the end of the year.
Fired by the end of the year or fired at the end of the year?
By the end of the year, like okay, so that would
Before.
include the end of the year. Okay, also I'll
Before.
say it. No, he'll be fired at the end of the year because I don't think he'll get fired during the season.
Okay.
I
Here's
love
mine.
Cody. I love Cody's bold takes.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say yeah. Indiana goes back to back.
Colin will never do another show again if
No.
Indiana wins.
Hey, I was right. I was right a year ago.
I
Cody,
know.
keep talking about it.
I know.
Here's why
And
you want me to
I had money on it with the Logan View guy. I said, you guys can
Yeah.
have the field and give me Indiana. And guess who freaking won? And that was like in week 2.
The worst part is you guessed the national championship game alone by week 4.
I know, because I
You said it'll
freaking
be
know what
Indiana,
I'm talking
Miami.
about. Because I know what I'm doing.
I'm
Despite
gonna
everybody
guess
thinking I don't.
I'm gonna guess that by week 4, Kale does not predict Indiana to win the national title.
If I thought maybe you were going to say something like by week 4, Kale won't show his face on the show again.
No, because Indiana will still be undefeated at that point.
Nebraska undefeated by still at Halloween.
No,
No.
it can't happen. It's
Why
impossible.
can't that happen?
It's impossible.
Well, that'd be irrational, wouldn't it? Make you look like a genius or an idiot.
More chances of looking like an idiot. Indiana's whole football season depends on one player.
Josh Hoover.
Yep.
Yeah,
He-
that's why
he
they're
is-
going to win. They're going to go back to back.
No, he is not winning them a national title.
They're going to convert themselves from a basketball school fully into a football school by season's end.
You could have convinced me more last year that Fernando Mendoza was going to be good than you can convince me that Josh Hoover is going to be good.
Isn't it? Don't you think?
I've never bought into the Josh Hoover hype.
Don't you think it's crazy that Indiana has become a football school and Nebraska has become the basketball school?
Well, yeah.
I want to ask Colin a question on Hoover. For you to believe in Hoover is decent to good, do they have to win a title?
No.
Okay, would you, if they went 10-2, made the playoff, but didn't win it all, would you blame it all on Hoover?
Yes.
That's where I'm going with that. So the only way for you to believe in Hoover led them to being good is if they win the title.
No. He doesn't have to win them a national title.
What's the minimum Indiana has to do to convince you that Hoover's good?
Well, here's the problem: is Indiana can be good and Hoover cannot be.
But Hoover can also be good and Indiana could not be.
No,
That's what
not-
we're asking. That's what we're
No.
asking. What's your bar for buying into Hoover?
What is it going to take for you to buy Hoover stock?
Here's the thing: if Hoover throws less than 10 interceptions, I'll be surprised.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
I'll take
the under on this.
Actually, I'll take that.
He will not.
Yeah,
throw
because
10
because they're not going to let him throw the ball. But Hoover will have 10 plus turnovers.
No.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Yeah, because if he does that,
Yeah.
because if he has like 6, they'll probably bench him.
If he the day he has more than 10 turnovers on him, fumbles or interceptions, I'll meet you at the pump pantry and I'll get you a soda.
Perfect.
So the Nebraska game?
No, it won't be by then. but I literally I could see Hoover like in a Nebraska game having like a 4 turnover game.
Like,
why?
What'd my Ava have?
On what planet tells you that?
Planet Earth, which we live on.
Hey, they made my Ava look like shit.
All he has to dude, Indiana's offense is so predicated on the RPO, which is like the most basic freaking thing of not having turnovers. Like, he doesn't have to be a huge risk taker because of what they do on offense.
Yeah, but you don't have to be a risk taker to turn the football over.
You kind of do. That's what the whole discussion was about Brett Favre.
No, because you can fumble the football.
I'm just glad we have a set mark that we can come back to.
If Josh Hoover has a better than 2-to-1 touchdown pass to interception ratio, I'll be surprised.
So a 16-8, because I don't think that would be very good.
Correct.
He at 2000 and last year he threw 13 interceptions, which was a 3% interception rate.
And TCU runs RPO.
He's
the only team that ran it more than Indiana.
He's thrown 11 interceptions on average in his three seasons.
Correct.
The reason he's tied to what also makes him dangerous is he's an aggressive downfield passer, which is what I said Brett Favre was and why he's awesome. So Hoover is awesome.
So Josh Hoover is Brett Favre.
Basically. In a logical sense. Yep. In a roundabout way. It says Josh Hoover doesn't have a turnover problem that makes him unplayable. He has an aggression problem that occasionally becomes a turnover problem. If he can get those 13 interceptions down to the 7 to 9 range without losing explosive plays, his ceiling changes insanely dramatically.
Okay, and let me preview this, Kale. Josh Hoover was turning the ball over on interceptions alone 13 times in the Big 12. He now plays in the fucking Big 10, brother.
Yeah, but you're also saying the same reason that you don't like Hoover is because he throws too many times, but that's because TCU's defense was so buns that they had to throw all the time to keep pace. Indiana isn't going to be that because they have good defense.
Well, and because Big
Also,
Ten
what
games
you
aren't
kind of
that high
alluded to
scoring.
is because you're like, well, they're not going to let them throw the ball. It's because they won't have to because their run game is so strong. So it's going to be complemented by that, which means safer throws. Basically, all the shit that Cody was saying earlier about having a strong run game dictating everything. Hoover's going to be protected from the standpoint of the strong run game, meaning less turnovers, meaning less gunslinger mentality, meaning Indiana's going to win a title.
I'm not convinced that Indiana's going to have a strong run game.
They have a guy named Turbo in the backfield. He's going to freaking run for 1,500 yards.
You want me to tell you something? I couldn't have told you who Turbo Richardson was prior to this show.
You
It's not
could, because I said in the Big Ten show
Richard.
that they got Turbo
It's
Richards
Richard.
from
Cody,
College.
I didn't listen to that fucking garbage. So
Well, here's the thing. I knew that Boston College had a running back that was good named Turbo Richard because I used him on my dynasty one year.
yeah. But you'd never heard of him other than that.
No, but then I realized he was good because college football on EA Sports is
Turbo
pretty good.
Richardson had 749 yards last year.
Yeah, because Boston College was ass.
I don't know. I'm out on Indiana. I would be more shocked if JJ Hoover is good for Indiana than I would be if Indiana didn't make the playoff.
I will say though that yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I'll wait. Hey, we've turned an hour show into 2 hours almost.
I know.
So.
We're really good at that. People hate us.
Yeah, we need to go so I can go make a pump and pantry run.
All right, boys. Wednesday predictions in week 0.